People of Reddit, what was the most NSW event you ever stumbled upon in high school? Not me, but a friend of mine who was yearbook photographer. She was a rail thin, awkward, geeky high schooler and was asked to photograph a day in the life of the swim team. Our school had the football fever and so other sports were always trying to get more than a few mentions in the yearbook packed with dozens of football shots. So my friend showed up to the swim team practice and later state tournament. She was asked to join them at their victory party, which was at someone's house with its own pool and hot tub. When she got there, most of the team was already drunk and not an adult in sight. There were also a lot of girlfriends of the team there, and more than once, my friend was asked to join them naked in the hot tub. People were freaking freely, and she strived constantly to get acceptable photos instead of the wanton depravity around her. At one point, some naked girl was chugging while she was in the cowboy position screwing on top of her boyfriend while everyone cheered her on. They kept begging my friend to take photos, and she refused in horrified shock. Some of the guys got really handsy with her until finally she picked a time when they were distracted, and she left. She later was crying to her best friend because she felt so stressed out and it was nothing like she expected. Sort of like showing a 10-year-old Caligula when they were expecting Toy Story 2. Only one photo made it to yearbook from that party. A hot tub photo where she had to crop out the beer keg, and everyone's body was below the waterline so you couldn't tell they were naked. I was a corn cob peddler for a while at school. Girls who wanted adult toys but didn't want to buy them themselves, or couldn't, would pay me the cost and a bit extra for me to get it for them simply because I had no shame as a 17-year-old. The store clerk must have been thinking you've shoved them up yourself then reverse digesting it or some crap. I walked into a bathroom after a fight. Broken mirror, blood smeared on the wall and floor, water everywhere, probably unrelated to the fight, and a lot of bloody tissues in the sink. Oh, and there was a turd in the urinal. I hope that was unrelated to the fight. Someone got the crap kicked out of them. The dudes from the class where I was from before I changed classes started doing group masturbating sessions in the locker room before or after pay. That crap smelled like rotten oysters after. The next class was always fricked because of the smell. Like if you've done this before with your homies. A freshman got jerked off by his girlfriend under the table in the cafeteria during lunch. Someone sitting near them noticed was happening, took a video, and posted it online. The administration quickly found out, the video was taken down, and all three involved were suspended. But that's child P. I ran cross country in high school. Sometimes during practice we would run through trails in the woods surrounding the high school. One day right after school ended we started running down the trails and stumbled upon two students fricking. Judging by their reactions I don't think they were expecting a group of 15 guys to run by while they were getting it on. High school bus hit a deer. Police were called. Deer was shot 3 times in front of the bus to put it down. Watched it from the parking lot while skipping school. I'm a hunter and during season if I were to see an injured deer or even hit one, I would put it out of its misery and use my tag. None of the meat would be edible, just wouldn't want it suffering. We had to go outside for a physics experiment, but on the way from the classroom to the field, there was a bloody trail, because a girl had just been stabbed in the bathroom and run to the nurse. She'd moved to the country less than a month prior, gotten mixed up with some shady people, and a 14-year-old hid in the bathroom stall before jumping out and trying to stab her in the face. She put her arms up and only had superficial injuries, but she never came back. Poor girl had PTSD last time I checked. 8th grade physical ed. Teacher showed us a video of a woman giving birth. Very close shots, very graphic, very disturbing to most 8th graders. Weird kid in the class tucks his arms into his shirt and starts jerking off to the fully dilated Tywit being shown on the 200-inch projector screen. Good lord, what the frick? We had a girl who would sit in the back of the bus and seemed to always have a different dude sit next to her. Turns out she was giving guys hand jobs for a small price. School is all about learning a trade. Had a guy run through the school completely naked. High school by the way. Even ran up and slapped some teacher's butt. Haven't heard of him since but they was like 5+ years ago. Classic streaking. Used condom left wrapped around the tap on the sink in the boys' toilets. A week later it was still there. A month later there was another one next to it. I read this as used a condom that was left wrapped around the tap on the sink and thought you found a used condom and then used it. And I almost died right here. Me and 3 others found a freaking dungeon underneath the auditorium in the back storage room. The girl who ran it was a junior who fricked a good portion of the football team there. There was a bucket filled quarter way with used condoms. Fun day. In 8th grade we went on a class trip to Hershey Park. 2 girls gave a guy a BJ on the bus ride home next to a sleeping chaperone. They eventually got caught and that's why there are now no co-ed buses in the district. This was also in 2002. I wonder if that's the reason we don't have co-ed in my district. A sophomore at my school gave a freshman a donut filled with CM. He got criminal charges. I have no idea what the charges were. I do know that he got fired from his job and expelled. I don't know much else besides the sophomore was dating the freshman's friend. Also, I have never seen Van Wilder or any of the other movies people are suggesting. That is plain revolting. ETA, I knew somebody would go there. Didn't expect so many. Reddit delivers you frickin' deviants. Walked into a bathroom after school and found a guy and a girl about to go to town. She had her shirt off and skirt up. He had his pants on. I caught them just before the moment of insertion. I said nothing. I would have left them to it, except all other bathrooms on campus except this one were always locked shortly before last bell. So I silently walked to a urinal, calmly did my business, properly washed my hands. By the time I went to leave, the girl was hiding in a stall and the guy was waiting by the door. I shrugged at the guy. Guy shrugged back. I left and heard the door lock behind me. Not one of us said anything or made a sound during the entire exchange. For everyone calling it a power move, I appreciate it, but I just didn't wanna have to pee in the bushes. This is a power move. We always threw house parties at my friend's house. One day I went to grab my jacket from one of the rooms and I heard some moaning and groaning, so I thought it was just a couple hooking up. I flipped the lights on BC. I couldn't find my jacket and saw that 3 of the track girls were butt naked finger banging and eating each other out. Instead of just standing there and watching or trying to participate, my nerdy high school self said hi, waved, and said have fun as I walked out, giving them privacy. Later on that year, I ended up dating one of the girls and would always try to mention it and maybe try to get a threesome going. Never happened though. She said it was just a drunk moment. Michael, Sarah, is that you? There was a kid. We will call him CB. He was notoriously a bad kid. Always in fights, getting kicked out of school, etc. Anyways, his locker wasn't next to mine, but it was really close. He and I never had problems because I purposefully avoided him. One day another kid, we will call AC, and CB, got into an argument. It led to a pushing and shoving match and some crap talking, but got separated really quickly. The next day AC was walking past our lockers and CB pulled a little crowbar out of his locker, ran up behind AC, and hit him in the back of the head so hard that blood hit me in the face. Part of AC's scalp literally half folded over the back of his head as he was on the floor. CB started hitting him in the back and the back of the head with it. Other students jumped on him and held him down. An ambulance took AC to the hospital. His skull was fractured and he had broken ribs. I had to get checked out because of the blood exposure. No idea where CB went, but I never saw him again. What happened to AC? No one thought it would be a bad idea for the cross-country team to have thin white uniforms until we had a race in a thunderstorm. So many flashbacks of dongs swaying with each stride. In my school it was girls varsity soccer in the spring. We had lots of fans when it rained. Not really NSW, just my most vivid HS memory. It was the biggest poop I'd ever seen. Just one huge log, to my memory the size of the toilet bowl. It definitely didn't fit down the hole and had to be removed by a janitor. Everyone told their friends about it and one by one we all went and checked it out. Also no toilet paper in the bowl. All that was there was the one big fat legendary turd. It physically hurts me to think about how it came out of a butthole. I would just like to add that I am touched and humbled by all of your poo related stories. In this time of division and opposition, let us all remember we are united by poo. I went to a small party at my friend's house. My girlfriend and I got there late. We went in and noticed nobody was in the living room. Weird, they said they'd be here. Start walking to the back and I could hear several voices in the bedroom. I just opened the door and there were 7 of my friends just having a casual orgy. Not me specifically, but 2 kids in my Catholic high school fricked in the bathroom and someone caught them and videotaped it. They posted it online. Our school made the news and now they measure girls' skirts if they look too high, as well as banning phones. Yup, skirt length was a problem here. This was junior high, but one kid who we suspected was gay gave another kid who we did not suspect was gay a BJ in the bathroom stall. And for what? A holofoil Clefairy Pokemon card. Service rendered. Goods received. Just a standard transaction. In middle school, the health teacher went to show a video on the projector and I guess he had pee on his video player. He offered everyone A's to keep quiet. He was fired, then went to work for a Catholic school. He was fired and then went to work for a Catholic school. Now I understand everything else in this thread. I went to a boarding school my freshman year of high school and a few weeks in, I volunteered to help walk our librarian's dog for her while her leg was healing after an injury. So I was walking this huge dog through the woods around campus when he suddenly sniffed the air and just ripped the leash out of my hands and took off into the underbrush. I started chasing after him when I heard screaming and yelling. I thought, oh god, this dog mauled someone and I'm going to get expelled. Broke through a clearing and there were 5 half-naked upperclassmen trying to put their clothes on and scatter while this dog is joyously barking and jumping up on and licking them. TLDR, accidentally interrupted an orgy in the woods with my librarian's dog. Yes, it was a co-ed school and yes, both genders were represented. Diary of a Wimpy Kid. Dog days. Went to teacher's room to get some papers that my Portuguese teacher had forgotten and stumbled at my gym and biology teachers kissing each other really hard over the meeting table. I mean, they didn't even notice me, and oh, it was a Catholic shul, and they were both married BTW. My face when I returned to class without the papers must have been priceless. Were they married to each other or other people? A girl, freshman, went viral on Snapchat because the guy she was giving head to recorded her and said it was terrible during the recording. She's now dating and cheating on the guy we called Cherry Picker. The guy we called Cherry Picker. What? I go to Catholic school and besides a teacher-child physical shaming scandal every year, I am not kidding, the kid that played the Pornhub intro on the drums that is spreading around the internet happened at my school. I'm a teacher who teaches in a high school. First day on the job, had 2 kids beaten cheeks in the back of one of my shop cars. Should specify I'm an automotive teacher. Pretty NSW if you ask me. Beating cheeks is a euphemism for running away, where I am from. We had many PCS in our school, and every computer room had a projector. So once when the teacher was ill and no replacement came, we were in that room. Someone started the projector and quickly found out that every P site he tried is blacklisted. But playing from USB apparently works fine. We later found out, not only are the connections whitelisted, but also fully monitored. Not long after the movie show with sound and everything started, the IT tech guy comes with a substitute teacher. That internet search history was apparently enough for them to suddenly have a substitute teacher for us. For anyone interested, we were around 16 or 18 males if I recall correctly and 4 girls in class. I can't remember how many were there that day. I like that he was casually walking around school with a flash drive of pee. Was walking around outside my high school and saw a dude leaning up against a wall getting a BJ. They didn't see me so I quietly turned around and walked away. Girl gave a BJ to a guy and his friends filmed it. It was the talk of the school and she changed schools. 2 years later she came back and sucked a different guy's dong by the same dumpster. No one filmed it this time. Some kid at a party got blackout wasted and shat himself. In the middle of the crowd he took his pants down and slipped in it. Proceeded to army crawl to try and make it out but just smeared it everywhere. He is still known as the party pooper. Incredible nickname. In band before a football game, I walk into the percussion room to hang with the homies. Everyone is huddled around this dude in the corner of the room laughing. So of course I walk over to check it out. Turns out the dude was showing everyone how tiny his dong is and everyone was so fascinated. Yet it was really small, like from the tip of your pinky to the first knuckle down. I've never seen anything like it lol. I know it called a microdong. Lumfeo. Props to the dude for having the confidence to show everyone though. A creepy 45-year-old teacher was caught watching pee twice by the same girl, and both times it was a Braves fetish and a schoolgirl thing, and the girl that caught him wore skirts and had braces. No, he was never fired or even talked to after going to the board, and yes, this is public school. Freshman year of high school. Football team is out practicing. A senior varsity player came into the freshman locker room, cut all the locks off our lockers, and stole our clothes. Nice enough to take wallets and phones etc out of pockets and leave them in the lockers though. Idiot didn't realize the hallway cameras had him the whole time. Most of us chose not to shower until we got home, and as a team proceeded to leave in groups in undershirts and boxers or no shirts and boxers after getting a call our rides were there. Small town. Small school, so ultimately he was just benched for a few games, suspended for a day or two, and his parents had to buy a bunch of padlocks. Pretty reasonable outcome, actually. In middle school, some kids walked in and started fricking in the stall next to me while I was pooping. Eventually they smelt my presence. Go to assert your dominance. When I was in middle school, someone jerked off and finished on his desk in the middle of class. The story is legend in our area, and it's been retold so many times that it's hard to figure out what actually happened after he finished. So I'll give you each ending I've heard from different people. 1. He finished and it shot across his desk onto the girl's hair in front of him. 2. The teacher heard something happening, went over and saw it on the desk and put her finger in it. 3. He just cummed over himself and got kicked out of class. He got suspended and a few years later got caught peeing outside and put on the diddlers list. The guy is really funny and pretty chill now. He has a lot of stories about him and they're all amazing. It's weird that it was him peeing outside as opposed to him masturbating in class that got him put on the diddler list. Oh man, I've got a good one for this. So I'm in HS theater class and have been helping the teacher out with a lot of tasks like setting up the green room and stuff. Just little helpful stuff. Well, apparently one of us left the door unlocked and unattended for a little too long. In our green room were 2 big blue couches that were the most uncomfortable things I had ever sat on. Teacher comes running into the room from the hall and says suddenly, "Tequila, I think someone is in the green room. Go with me so I can have a witness." Thinking nothing of it, I go. We stand by the door and someone is most deaf in there, making some pretty unusual sounds. I realize what the sound is a half second before the teacher throws the door open to 2 kids from my class getting down on that couch. I only had like 2 seconds of view time before the teacher screams, "Good golly Miss Molly," and slams the door. I sat outside that door crying from laughing for about 20 minutes before they knocked on the door to be let out, realizing we had the stage completely locked down. The look on their faces when the principal let them out and led them to his office will forever be in my mind. Can you imagine? Balls deep about to blow and from over your shoulder, "Good golly Miss Molly," I dream of it sometimes and still wake up laughing. 20 minutes before they knocked on the door to be let out. Wonder if they finished. Not me, but a few freshmen encountered sophomores fricking on a hill my school had for cross country and I think football, and then someone marked that hill on Google Maps. Fresh jizz on a locker room bench. A kid pulled his pants down in Spanish class and pee in the corner. A kid with a mental handicap who would vigorously masturbate in AP political science at least once a week. The one day in AP Poli-C, the kid with Asperger's sat alone in a row of empty chairs all closely placed together directly in front of the teacher. In the middle of class, he reclined across 4 adjacent seats and went to work in his pants. At my angle, I could see everything. The tent, his forearm pistoning up and down, the veins in his neck. He stuck out his tongue and curled his toes, taunting us like that for 5, maybe 10 seconds, before the teacher shouted at him. This kid did weird crap, but he was in a number of my AP classes and, I think, legitimately earned his way. He carried our team's butt in AP Brit Lit junior year during in-class Jeopardy games. And way too many of y'all shared this pee in Spanish class experience for us to be in the same class. What's going on out there? We had a handicapped jerker too. One time he whipped it out walking down the hall between class and went to town laughing his butt off. The hall was full of people. Apparently it was huge. What happens in the locker room should stay in the locker room. With that said, I once walked in on a kid shoving a crucifix up his butt on a dare from his friends. A bunch of kids did the deed under the bleachers during a pep rally. Nobody knew until they found multiple used condoms while cleaning up. Lights stay on at homecoming because people will frick on the bleachers. No blankets for obvious reasons. On every field trip someone gets fingered on the bus. Teachers have learned not to look into cars before school. I live in the Midwest though, so there's not much else to do. The janitor didn't cordon off the area when someone spilled a large half-gallon of milk. One student ran into cafeteria, slipped and busted his butt. The janitor was suspended for 1 day. What school offers half gallons of milk? A bunch of guys from the athletics class got mad at a kid from mine for cheating during dodgeball, so they walked into the locker room freaking naked and whipped him with towels. I just walk in and see someone's dong flopping around like a corrupted body part in a PS1 game before he leaps off the bench and goes apeshit on the guy. I noped the frick out and waited in the hallway with everyone else. Before anyone asks why didn't I or anyone else help, the coaches were nowhere to be found and we were scrawny freshmen against football and wrestling players in good shape. The guy eventually comes out drenched and wet, calls us buttholes, then kicked one of our backpacks. If you are new to the channel, you can subscribe. I publish new videos every day. Until then, check another video. Bye for now.